What's up, everybody? This is Mark from Solar Games. Today, I think I'm going to cover a topic around why I hate play to earn as a concept of video games. I think in general, just basically, when we hear about play to earn, right? So this is a concept that kind of came out from the crypto sphere, and the whole idea is that a play to earn game is where you get to play and there is a tradable currency that you can, for example, farm inside the game and then sell to other people. Now, a lot of games have this essentially, but most of the time it's not supported or, it's not supported or legal or allowed by the developers, right? So for example, Diablo 3 had a real money auction house, but even before that, we were selling things in Diablo 2 for money on, eBay. So there's always a way that you can trade digital items, digital goods, for some real world currency, right? Gold selling and WoW, I've done that too in the past. So it's like a thing, you could do these things. But I think one of the things that kind of sucks about play to earn is that, number one, first of all, it's actually not a bad idea in concept. I think the whole idea of like, hey, if there's a third world country, people can like play the game and earn money. And they could then use that money. It's like a job, right? But it's like, you're trading time for money, and then somebody in US where they can make more money, for example, doing other jobs, they can then trade that money that they earn from those for time inside the game. It's kind of honestly, that's how the economy works, right? So what's the problem if it sounds like that? Well, most of the time it doesn't actually work like that, right? So what you tend to understand and realize very quickly is that a lot of these play to earn structures just honestly turns into, digital slavery. Because what essentially happens is you have people who are at the top who are actually making those transactions, who are basically earning a good chunk of money by facilitating. And remember, this is a game that somebody's developed. So they've built a system inside the game for the currency to be exchanged for real money and vice versa. What prevents them from building something inside the game that is, more beneficial for the creators? What prevents the creators from changing something inside the game for a future where maybe that changes how the economy works and it's, again, in their favor? These are the things that you can't really control. And in some ways, it's almost more pure if you're selling gold in WoW or selling items in Diablo 2, that it's a system that's not supported. So the developers aren't putting effort into thinking how to, manage, control, and be devious potentially about these things. They're just trying to shut it down. So it's almost more pure as a marketplace than a game where it's intentionally meant for you to trade currency for money, right? And the other thing I hate about a lot of the play to earn games is that they have this concept of you got to spend money to earn money. So most play to earn games, you can't just start the game and then free to play and then earn enough currency to then go sell. In fact, most of these games you do have to start by buying something from their network, from their game. Like for example, Axie Infinity is a famous one where you have to first buy your initial Pokemon, basically Axies, from someone else with Ethereum or their token there. And then be able to then join the game, and that's how you can actually start playing the game. You can't start the game without any Axies. And so it starts already kind of creating a structure whereby you start thinking about things not in the way of like, hey, I'm playing to then earn money, but you're already kind of part of the spending ecosystem. And so the next spend, the next swipe, the next whatever is just so much easier because, again, you've literally been forced to do the initial. In fact, this is one of the reasons why a lot of mobile games, free-to-play ones especially, have, usually they'll let you play for about 5, 10, 20, 30 minutes for free. Then they hit you with like a really good deal, like in your initial pack, and it's really cheap, like 99 cents. Essentially, they don't have to earn money on that pack. They do anyways, it's all digital. But that pack, what that does is that it encourages you to be part of the system. Once you spend money, you now feel like there's ownership. You feel like the account is yours. You feel like there's more you want to like potentially put into the account. And that starts putting more ownership, and that makes the next spend, next credit card swipe so much easier. And that's exactly what they do. They try to convert players like this. So in some ways, play to earn does this just by saying, hey, if you want to be part of the system, you got to pay into it. And so then it becomes, well, what if they start selling like a potion that you can take, for example, to catch Pokemon faster or whatever? I mean, you're earning money, right? Well, you can pay me $10 for the potion, but then you can capture a Pokemon that you can sell for $100. So you're now part of the system. Except the problem is that the issue that you're trying to solve is created by the people who are trying to sell you the solution. And this is where it gets really devious, and you have to be really careful, right? Again, I'm not pointing to any specific game that's doing this, but you have to understand this is the problem with a game where intentionally they're creating a system whereby you can trade the currency inside the game for real money, is that they can then control what actually goes in there. The other part of it too is, again, like we've been saying, it's all digital, right? And I don't even mean digital as in like, hey, it's fake things, who cares? I actually personally think that there is a lot of value in digital goods, cosmetics, whatever, those kind of things. I'm not one of these like Luddites in the older generation who are like, I don't understand the phone. Like, what is a cell phone? What is a screen? Like, I know why it matters to people. What you have to be really careful with is, especially because, again, I played these games in the past when I was younger. What happens when the server shuts down? Remember, somebody still controls that thing. Now, we can have all these conversations about how NFTs are, serverless, they're free. You own the item or whatever beyond the game. Okay, you can say that it's on the blockchain. We can all look at it. But if there's no server, there's no actual game to support using that NFT, then it doesn't mean anything, right? In fact, you can then argue, of course, well, what if that NFT gets implement it into a different game, then I still have value because, again, that game has it. Well, let me ask you this. Why would any other game, any other developer be interested in doing that unless it makes them money? So what essentially could happen is, maybe let's say Axie Infinity dies as a game, at some point. And somebody else says, you know what, I will make sure that all the Axies you can, they have value because I'll create a new Axie Infinity where you can, bring your Axies in. But I'm going to charge you a transfer fee, right? I will recognize your token in my game, but for you to actually have your token, be recognized, you do have to pay me some amount in, for example, my game's currency. And you see how, like, even though you own your own digital assets, unless you also own the actual, like, code that makes this digital asset be represented together on a screen that's meaningful, meaning it's represented, meaning the asset's actually rendered, in the way you want to see it, but also it's inside a game where you can actually play with it. It has meaning because it has stats, battle, etc., mechanics. Unless you own the whole thing, you don't actually own any of this stuff. And this is where, again, someone else is running the ship. You just got to have this pure understanding of, like, look, you don't own these things. Once the server shuts down, you likely won't care. And so all this real world money that you've pumped into a game or time, right? If somebody's not happy with you, they can just kind of ban you. And that's another thing too, right? So let's say Axie Infinity or any play to earn game doesn't shut down. There's no problems with it, but, well, guess what? You pissed somebody off or you did something wrong in the game. Well, you get banned. What happens to your items? What happens to all the effort you put into the game? It's all gone too. Because, again, it's gatekept by someone else. When I own Magic cards, if I get banned by Wizards or a game store because I don't know, did something wrong in the game store, they don't take all my cards away, right? I can just take my cards and go play somewhere else. Look, I basically had to get banned by everybody in the world to then, blacklist me to the point where, okay, well, now I really can't play, this game with anyone. But that's not really possible, right? And the funny thing is, if that happens to enough people, well, guess what? We're just all going to have our own group where, since we're all, basically not allowed to play with anyone else, we can play with each other. So this is the exiles group, right? So you don't have any of that stuff with digital games. So that's why I just don't like play to earn as a concept. I think it's devious. I think it's honestly, it takes advantage of people who probably haven't thought through problems at a certain level. And that's the thing, like, you got to really think through these problems. Like I said in my previous video about scams, there's scams everywhere. You really have to go protect yourself. And you should go protect yourself against something that just looks simple. Again, I'm not saying every play-to-earn game is a scam. I'm not saying these things are just really, really bad. But I think there's two parts. One is you have to protect yourself. You have to be careful. If it's fun, go play it. No problems. The second part is respect your own time. Time is so valuable. Time is the one resource that just keeps draining away and you can't get it back. So respect it. Maybe there's something better you can do with your time instead of spending it into that play to earn game. All right, smart Solar Games. Peace.